Well, a middle school principal in Fort Worth, Texas is facing up to 20 years in prison after police say she had her daughter plant a hidden camera in a girl's locker room. According to investigators, she did it to spy on the high school basketball coach after some team members complained that he yelled too much. We're told the camera didn't record anything inappropriate, but the principal now facing felony charges of improper photography and wiretapping. A defense attorney says she didn't do anything wrong. Let's get to our legal panel, former prosecutor Jeffrey Gold and criminal defense attorney Nicole DeBoard. And I guess, Nicole, if this was in the library and not the locker room, and again, we should point out there were no inappropriate pictures taken of the girls, but if this was in the library and not the locker room, would we be even talking about this today? But I guess the shock value of this whole story, Jeffrey, is the fact this camera was in the locker room, and though they were trying to get the coach who was screaming at kids, it's that whole seediness of a principal putting a camera in a locker room that is really grabbing a lot of attention in this case.
Trace, that is exactly right, because there is participant eavesdropping in Texas, which means that as long as the daughter set it up and she was listening to the conversation, she could tape it. What the prosecutor is saying here is that this was for a wrong, for a criminal act or a tortious act, which means that the principal did it to invade the privacy of all these kids. And how shocking is it that it occurred in a locker room? I don't know what's actually going on in this case. There might even be some politics going on. But I'm going to tell you something right now. There's none of those parents of those kids that want to know their kids were taped for whatever reason.
Yeah, and that's the point here. And Nicole, you know, this daughter of the principal you're looking at right here, she'd already quit the team and she was done. This was all to capture this coach yelling at the kids because they believe he was yelling too much. I mean, it just seems like that there was a little bit more motivation to this story. Privacy aside, and maybe she caught this guy screaming and yelling at kids, Jeffrey, but what if there were inappropriate pictures captured on that video camera?
Right, that would be a different story. Right now, because there were no pictures, we're just talking about the eavesdropping, just talking about the audio. And that's why probably Nicole is right. It's not the greatest case, but look, a grand jury indicted. Sometimes we say that a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich if the prosecutor asks, but nevertheless, a grand jury has indicted, and now this has got to go to court and get resolved. So there's something to it.